Welcome, everybody, to the Ibug Buzz episode 584 for May 15th, 2023. I'm Greg. I'll be co-hosting tonight with Sandhya. If we have anybody new that's joining us on this call, or if you're listening to a recording of this call on YouTube or one of the other podcast apps, we extend a special welcome and encourage you to stay involved with us. Ibug Buzz is an open forum that we do each week. And it's for, we encourage you to bring your questions, bring your issues related to your iOS devices and your accessories that go with those devices. All right. Welcome, Herbie. All right. Who else have we got?
Bridget from Atlanta.
All right, Bridget. Hi.
Rosetta.
I heard Julie, and who else was there?
Rosetta from Conyers, Georgia.
Good. Hi, Rosetta.
Hi.
Helene from Woodstock, New York.
Hi, Helene. Hi, Sarah.
Gary in Austin.
Hey, Gary.
Hey, Greg.
Ed in Georgetown, Ontario.
Hi, Ed. Welcome.
Thank you.
Who else is joining us?
Jody from Southern California.
Okay, I got Jody and who was it from California?
This is Dan.
Oh, Dan. Hey, welcome.
This is Brian from Arizona.
Hey, Brian.
And this is Brian from North Bay, Ontario.
All right. Another Brian. Good. Welcome.
It's the Brian and Brian show.
Could be. Brian squared. Okay. Who else have we got?
Marcia from Daytona Beach.
Hi, Marcia.
Now you can say it.
John in Austin.
Whoa, I missed. Did I hear Vincent a minute ago?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Hey, Vincent. All right, Vincent. Who else was that?
John in Austin, Texas.
Hey, John. Welcome.
Marty from Ben Salem, PA.
Hi, Marty.
Hey, Pete.
Who else? Anybody?
Sandhya in Houston.
All right, Sandhya. I'm glad you're here.
I think I'm here.
Dee from Southern Illinois.
Hi, Dee. Welcome.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Okay. Let's go ahead and move into our question segment.
This is Marcia.
Marcia, go ahead.
The doctor called to remind me of an appointment, and it got into deleted, and I've gone to delete it and tried to put it back in, and I can't seem to do it. I've flicked all around. I've put my finger down and held it. I've done everything, and I can't seem to get it unblocked.
Okay, so the doctor left you a voicemail.
Yeah.
And somehow it got deleted, and you're trying to find it.
I find it, but it's in the blocked, and I can't get it unblocked and back into my contacts.
Okay.
You need to introduce laundry.
Who was that?
No, the interruption.
Okay. All right. Does anybody, can anybody respond on that? How do you get a voice message out of unblock it so she can?
This is Ed.
Ed, go ahead.
If you go into settings and go to, and I forget where it is, you go down and it gives you that option to unblock. I can't remember the heading. I know it's down towards the end, I believe. But there is an area in there, and it'll give you a list of the names of blocked names.
Right. I have seen that.
Yeah.
It came in voicemail, and then somehow they got.
I think it's in mail. That's right. It's in mail, and it'll go. If you go to the end of mail, it says blocked names, and it'll list the name and it'll give you the option to unblock that.
So what you're saying is open the settings app, go into the mail, the mail section, and then go down to the bottom of that.
Yes.
This is Terry.
Terry, go ahead.
Now, are you talking about a voicemail as in a phone call?
Yes.
Okay. So what you can do is you don't have to go into settings. You go into your phone app on your iPhone, and you swipe all the way to the end. Practically, you swipe to the right. Let's see, you go to recents. So you open your phone app, and then you go to what should be the second tab from the left, which is recents, and you double tap on that. And then you're going to swipe to the right, and you should see eventually something called blocked messages. I'm sorry, not recents. You go to, if the person left a voicemail, you go to voicemail messages, which should be the very last tab to the right. So you double tap on the voicemail messages, and you then swipe to the right almost to the end, and it should show you blocked messages if there are any, and then you double tap there, and it'll give you the list of those that you have blocked. And if there's just one there, you can double tap on that one or whichever one you need to unblock, and it'll give you an option to unblock it, and you double tap on that. So basically you're just going to follow the prompts. Once you get to your voicemail messages that have been left and that you've listened to, or even the ones you haven't, and you swipe all the way to the right till you get to blocked messages, and double tap there and just follow the prompts till you get to the one you want to unblock, and just double tap to unblock it, and then you can listen to it. I think you can still listen to it again even if it is blocked.
I did see recently, I did see blocked, and I went to the block, and that's the only message that I saw. And I flicked right, I flicked left, I flicked up, I flicked down, and I did, pressed hold. I tried to go to I just went all around in that one, and it just, I think it even had more, and I still couldn't get it from there either.
This is Sri.
Sri, go ahead.
Yeah, I think if the call is blocked, you have to go to settings, phone, and go all the way down to the bottom, and you'll have a list of all your blocked calls, and you can remove the block call from there.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, good. Thank you, Sri. All right, how about another question? All right, well, I'll ask a question. So I have a focus set so that I go into do not disturb when I go to bed at night, and I have it set to come off in the morning. And a couple nights ago, that just turns on automatic every night. A couple nights ago, probably 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, I get a couple text messages with Sherwood Forest do sound. Why would that have come through? It's not. I don't have the person selected as an emergency. An emergency whatever contact. Why would that message have come through when I had do not disturb turned on?
Mark in Montreal.
Go ahead, Mark.
Sometimes when you text somebody, it tells you that their do not disturb is on, but it also gives you an option to send it anyway.
Okay.
So I've done that with some people who I know I need to get a hold of, because I know they have a tendency to schedule their do not disturb, and sometimes they forget that their do not disturb is on. So if I really want to get a hold of somebody, I have that option before I send my message to do that. and sometimes it will do it.
Okay,
That's the
so
only time I've seen it.
if I'm on the receiving end, is there a way that I can prevent them from doing that? Because I
don't think so.
I don't
No.
want to get alerts at 4:00 in the morning.
I don't think there is.
Okay.
This is Sri.
Sri, go ahead.
I have a feeling that if they, at least my understanding is on the do not disturb, if they try to repeatedly call you, it might bypass the do not disturb. Like if they're calling you like within a couple of minutes, it's repeatedly trying to reach you. I think it might consider it as an emergency call, like it's trying to bypass you because they're trying to reach you more than one time.
That could be. Would the same thing apply to a message?
I believe so. I'm not 100% sure about the message, but I believe the phone works that way.
Yeah, that may have been the case. Okay, good. Thank you. How about another question?
It's Rosetta.
Rosetta, go ahead.
I was wondering, what's the advantage of a blind person using FaceTime? Is there something, do you always have to have the internet to make a FaceTime call?
Those are good questions, Rosetta. Let's see who can respond to that. So do you have to have internet for FaceTime, and why would a blind person use FaceTime? Who can enlighten us on that?
Mark in Montreal?
Mark, go ahead.
I've run into situations where I've used FaceTime with my significant other who lives in a different place because I want to know what shirt I want to wear. She wants me to wear, or I need information from somebody with vision, or the person that I'm calling, I don't just associate with blind people. So, some people prefer to talk on FaceTime or will call me on FaceTime. So I don't have a problem with that. So yeah, it's something, it's a tool that you can use. You don't have to use it, but it's there, and you can use FaceTime on Wi-Fi or cellular data. You can use it either way. Of course, you're using up your data more if you're on cellular, depending upon what type of rate plan you have, but it's available on either. And I use it quite a bit.
Right. And does anybody want to add anything to that?
This is Jody.
Jody, go ahead.
Yes, actually, I used it yesterday because I dropped something in the backyard, and I FaceTimed my daughter and used the camera on the phone, and she found the missing items. So it's handy for that. But the other thing too is you can also do FaceTime audio calls without video, and that's going to use your Wi-Fi instead of cellular if you're at home or on a Wi-Fi network. So that might be a consideration too. But FaceTime's very handy.
All right, good. Thank you, Jody. Let's go ahead and move on. Yes, Sri.
Thank you.
Mark in Montreal, one other thing I wanted to point out about FaceTime for you guys in the States, you might have in your rate plans the ability to call Canada and Mexico, but it's not so much available up here. They want $15 a month just for the privilege of unlimited calling to the US. So I use FaceTime a lot, like to my friend Jerry in Vermont, stuff like that. FaceTime or WhatsApp all the time, video or audio.
All right, that makes sense.
Thank you.
All right. Wait, did I hear Sri a minute ago?
I was just going to say, you do need Wi-Fi. The real benefit for, at least for me, for FaceTime is if someone has an iPhone and they're overseas or anywhere outside the US, it's a free call. That's one of the big benefits of FaceTime. And you could FaceTime up to 32 people at the same time. And you can share things while you're doing FaceTime, like certain apps like Netflix, you can share the app as long as the other person has an app. You could watch Netflix together while you're on FaceTime.
All right, good.
This is Sarah.
Sarah, go ahead.
I also just wanted to add, at the bottom of this huge, wonderful list, that the audio is awesome. It is just, it makes everything really clear. and it's better than regular audio. So if you want a really crisp phone call, FaceTime's the way to go.
Yeah. Thank you, Sarah. All right, so let's move on. Beyond FaceTime calls, who's got another question?
Mark in Montreal with a question.
Yeah, go ahead, Mark.
A Zoom question. Last week, thanks to Ed, who is in Georgetown, Ontario, I was able to figure out how to determine the active speaker by turning the audio controls on. But your self view on Zoom keeps turning on, and you have to turn your self view off as well. But every time you go into a Zoom call, I think it's called self view. It's in the meeting controls after the controls on or off thing. It's 2 or 3 things flicked to the right. There's self view on. Is there any way of turning that self view off permanently? Doesn't seem to. It seems every time you go into a new Zoom meeting, it's always on. It's bloody annoying.
And these are Zoom meetings you're joining or you're initiating?
No, in an active, because you have to go in and make your control adjustments in an active Zoom meeting.
Okay.
You can't do it before.
Okay. Who can respond to that? I know with my Zoom, when I initiate meetings, I just have that set to start a meeting with video turned off. But who can talk to us about having the video turned off when you're in a meeting?
This is Ed.
Ed, go ahead.
I think if you open up the Zoom app without being on a meeting, and you go over to settings in that situation, there's also a place in there where it gives you the option to turn off your video. And I haven't looked in that in a long time. It may have changed, but I think there's an option there for that. So you might want to check that. And I don't know if it affects that part of it, because I think there's different ways that like there's video of you, and then there's video, of course, of other people. So I'm not sure which that option affects, but I think it's affecting you when you go into a meeting. Well, I think that's where you control that option.
Yeah, so you might want to try.
I want to try that. Yeah.
You might want to try changing those settings when you're not in a meeting and see if you have any luck with that, turning the video off.
Yeah, this is a work in Mark in Montreal. This is a work in progress, and we're gradually trying things. And thanks, Ed, for getting me this far anyway.
Yeah.
Last week and now.
Yeah. All right. Anybody have any other response to Mark's question? All right. Let's go ahead and move on and get another question.
This is Jody.
Jody, go ahead.
Yeah, first, I just have a comment. First, I think it's really cool. I didn't realize you could add that many people to a FaceTime call, 33 people. That's terrific. And the other thing I was going to talk about is something I discovered yesterday that it's probably an obvious thing that some people might not know about, is you can ask Siri to calculate a tip when you're out in a restaurant. You just say, calculate the tip. She asks you how much is the bill. You tell her, and then she tells you how much the tip is. I think that's cool.
There are a lot of I think I was looking in the shortcuts app the other day, and there are just a boatload of things that you can ask Siri that I wouldn't have thought of asking.
Oh, neat. I'll have to go look.
Yeah.
This is Marty.
Marty, go ahead.
With a new question.
Sure, go.
On my AirPods Pro, when I first used them, which was like the first time in a long time, a couple of months ago, in Bluetooth settings, when you go under more info, there was a tab that said connect to this iPhone automatically, or when last connected, so you could select either one. I have not, and then when I charged them and used them again, I have not seen that option in a month. And even after I updated to 16.4.2, that tab is not there. I'm wondering if it moved somewhere else, or if it's just not in that option anymore, in Bluetooth settings.
Right. Who can respond to that? Anybody have recent experience with that? Okay, Marty. I think you're just going to have to play with it some more.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you, Marty. Okay. Let's go on to another question. It's a slow night tonight, guys. I
It's
know
Chris.
some. Chris, go ahead.
Hey, Greg. I want to circle back to your question about the notifying you for your messages when they, if you think they're doing the notify anyway option for you.
Yeah.
There is something in iOS 16. I think it's under Focus, and I think it's called Focus. I forget, Focus On maybe. And before you could do it individually in the apps. And if you go like under Messages at the top, it'll say Focus, and it's a toggle on or off. But I don't know if that worked exactly the way you're talking about.
Yeah, I checked that, and I had everything turned off. I think probably what happened is the person that was texting sent a text to me and then sent a text to my wife and me just back to back. I'll bet that's what happened. Like with the phone calls, is if if somebody calls you twice, then they can get through twice real quickly. They can get through.
This is Chris.
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, it was a new thing under iOS 16 because I went through this with my daughter because I thought mine were turned off like you thought yours were turned off, but it was I was at 15 at the time, but under 16, if you went under Focus and at the very bottom of the settings Focus, there's a thing called, I think it's Focus On, or I think it's called Focus On or Focus Off. And if that one is turned, it's a global setting. And if that one was turned on, then I would not see the option to notify her anyway that her focus was on.
Okay. All right. I'll try that. Thank you.
This is Sri.
Siri, go ahead.
Yeah, I just looked on my phone for Marty's question about the Bluetooth.
Good.
Of the AirPod. I do see it. I don't see it as a tab. I see it as a button. There's a button that says I guess to turn on or off, whether you want it to connect to the last device or not.
Okay, and that's just toward the bottom of the Bluetooth screen.
That's in the more info. So you basically go to your AirPod Pro and then go to your info, and then you just swipe right. And I think it's towards like the middle. It says, "Do you want to connect to the last device?" And it said it was a button.
Okay. Yeah. So check that out, Marty, and see what kind of luck you have with that, and let us know.
This is Marty.
Yeah. Go ahead.
I went into all those buttons and it's not there. It has ear fit test, spatial audio, automatically connect when the AirPods are in the ear, that kind of stuff, but not connect to a device automatically or when last connected. That button was there and is not there now. So, but thanks.
Siri, go ahead.
Marty, did you do a reboot after the update?
A reboot?
Yeah.
No, because doesn't the phone kind of restart?
It does, but sometimes you don't get a really good reboot. Like I usually, when situations like this occurs, I usually do like a force reboot to just shut everything down and let it relaunch itself. Because a reboot doesn't always do that. So I would probably just do a force reboot and let it just.
You mean like a shutdown?
No. Like a volume up, volume down, and hold the side button down. Like you're
Well,
forcing
I
it.
have I have an iPhone 8. Is that different with a home button?
No, I think the iPhone 8 works the same way. It's volume up, volume down, and then hold the side button.
For a long time.
For a long time. I hold it down for 17 seconds.
Would that affect any settings I have? Would I have to redo those?
Nope. It's just doing it. All it's doing is just resetting everything. It shuts it off and restarts it. And versus a reboot, it's still connected. This it basically disconnects and reconnects.
Okay.
Right. Thanks, Sri. That the forced reboot, I tell you, if you're having any kind of problems with your phone, that's one of the first things to do is just reboot it. Same as you do with your computer or TV or whatever. That solves a lot of problems. All right. How about another question?
Hi, there's Brian.
Brian, go ahead.
Yeah, this isn't really a takeoff on, Greg, your question, but it has to do with, well, I'm trying to understand, I'm very new to the iPhone. I'm trying to understand do not disturb and what is that? Messages, not messages, but anyway, and the little switch on the top, the mute switch. So can somebody sort of clarify, how do I use the mute switch, or in what case? And then say I'm in a class or in a meeting and I want to make sure nothing comes through. So does the mute switch help with that, or do I have to do some other setting? Is that all kind of clear? Right. So Greg probably knows because he's used to my roundabout questions.
Yeah. Well, and I think I think your question, what's the difference between the mute switch and do not disturb, and what does a mute switch actually do in terms of if you put that on when you're in a meeting, what does the mute switch actually do for you? And
right.
What's the difference between that and do not disturb?
Thank you.
This is Marty.
Marty, go ahead.
I'm not sure about the first part, but the second part about the mute switch, it will mute sounds, but I think it will not mute, like if you get a notification, it will not mute voiceover. To do that, if you double tap, if you do a 3-finger double tap, you turn speech off, and that would mute your voiceover. Then everything would be muted. If you do the mute switch and do 3-finger double tap, then everything would be muted.
Okay. Anybody else want to add to that?
Mark in Montreal.
Mark, go ahead.
It's a 2-finger double tap, Marty, not a 3. A 3 is your screen curtain.
3-finger, yeah. The 3-finger double tap is the speech off, right? Okay. What about vibrations? If you have that mute switch flipped to where the mute is on, do you get vibrations?
No, you get haptic.
You get haptic.
Still do get haptic, yes.
This is Sri.
Sri, go ahead.
You do get vibration. Unless you turn the vibration mode off, you'll get, one thing, there's always the shut it off if you don't want to be bothered. If you really don't want anything to come through, you can turn your phone off and then turn it back on when you're ready to engage with something.
Okay. What would come through if I had the mute switch flipped? What would come through that would not come through on do not disturb if I have do not disturb turned on?
This is Sri.
Go ahead.
The mute switch is it's not blocking anything. It's just turning off the sound of it. So like if a phone call comes in, you're not going to hear the ringer because you muted the ringer. If you ask Siri a question, you're not going to hear Siri's response back because she's muted. So you're just muting the sound of it. That's all that's doing. It's not shutting anything off. It's just muting.
Okay. But if I touch the phone screen, VoiceOver is going to talk?
VoiceOver will stop. Well, I believe VoiceOver will still talk. You just won't hear like Siri when you ask a question. But if the Siri information is on the screen, I think you can still touch. Try that. I can try it. I'll try it on my phone and come back and tell you that. But all the mute is really doing is just stopping the sound from coming through.
Stopping the sounds. Yeah. Okay. Good. And Brian, you might want to play with that. put your mute switch on and touch the screen, see if VoiceOver talks to you. If so, then you'd want to do what I believe Mark said, do a 3-finger double tap to silence speech, or you could do what Siri said and just turn the phone off.
This is Terry.
Terry, go ahead.
If you have the mute button turned on, pushed toward the back of the phone, alarms, if you have an alarm set, that will still come through. And I think, and somewhere in settings, I think it tells you that. And sometimes what I will do is just turn the volume of my phone way down. If I don't remember to turn off the mute button, I'll just turn the volume way down, and I can still feel it vibrating if something comes through. But having said that, I believe I have had, depending upon how you have your phone ringer set, if you don't have it set so that it is affected, the volume of the phone ringer is affected by your volume keys up and down, then it might still ring even if you have the volume turned way down. So I like Sri's suggestion, just turn your phone off, but just so experiment with that mute button and see where it gets you and what comes on and what doesn't. But I think you've gotten a good idea of what that mute button does. It really just affects the sounds that, except for VoiceOver and alarms, I think.
All right. Good. Let's go ahead. I hope, Brian, that gave you something to play with. I would encourage you to experiment a little bit. Try different things with that mute switch on. One of the things with mute or with the mute switch or with do not disturb is I can't tell you how many times I've put that mute switch on and then forgotten that it was on, or had my phone in do not disturb and forgot to take it out of do not disturb. So you do have to remember to get out of those modes. All right, let's go ahead and move on to another question.
This is Sarah.
Sarah, go.
Can I just reverse a little bit before you?
Sure.
Let's move on.
Sure.
When you put the mute button on, the voiceover still does. I mean, I think we needed to confirm that, but the voiceover still does make a sound. It still does play.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Thanks,
That's
Sarah.
all.
Yeah, so you don't want to be in a meeting and touch your phone and have VoiceOver talking to you all of a sudden.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, could be embarrassing. Okay, let's move on. Another question?
This Rosetta.
Rosetta, go ahead.
I was wondering, when I first got my Apple Air tags, I could tell Siri to find my keys because it has an Air tag on my keys. But now when I tell Siri to find my keys, she won't make my keys start beeping anymore.
Okay. How is your Air tag pretty new?
Yes, I just got it 2 weeks ago.
Okay. All right. So why isn't Siri telling Rosetta where her keys are? Who can give us some suggestions on that? Come on, you AirTag users.
This is Sri.
Siri, go ahead.
Are you asking the right name? Like, are you asking for the name that you named that AirTag?
Rosetta?
Well, it's Rosetta's keys. So when I say Siri, where's Rosetta's keys? It says Rosetta's keys or Carl's keys. And I say Rosetta's keys. And it still says Rosetta's keys or Carl's keys?
I'm going to play around with that because I think this might be either it's a bug or we're saying the wrong phrase. It's one of those two.
Okay.
But I'll definitely play with mine and see what I come up with.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Rosetta. Thanks, Sri. All right. Another question? Anybody?
Gary.
Gary, go.
I'm thinking about enabling Wi-Fi calling, and I'm just curious if there are any real advantages to doing that.
All right. Who's using Wi-Fi calling? Who has that set up? All right. I think the advantage is you get a higher quality audio.
Oh, okay.
And I don't think cell plans, I think most of us have unlimited data, so that probably isn't an issue for most of it. But I think the quality of the audio is better, I believe.
Yeah.
Can anybody confirm that?
Greg, it's Mark in Montreal.
Yeah, Mark.
We are notorious in this building for poor cellular coverage. Some carriers are poorer than others, like Bell is worse than Rogers, which I'm on Rogers, thank God, but it's still pretty low. So when you have your Wi-Fi calling turned on and enabled, you don't have to worry about your poor quality cell signal because you're using the Wi-Fi. And I have friends in the building whose Wi-Fi, we have agreements that, you can use my Wi-Fi, I can use yours. So if I'm on a different floor and by their apartment, say down to get lunch or whatever in the dining room to take back, I can use Christine's Wi-Fi and still know I'm going to get a good signal. Say if I'm waiting for my paratransit or whatever, I know my signal's not going to be poor and it's going to go to voicemail. I'm going to miss a phone call because of low quality cellular coverage. That's what Wi-Fi calling does. It sort of gives you that backup.
Thank you. And I'm going to take back what I said. I don't know if the audio quality is better or not, but Mark is exactly right. That's why you would do it if your cell service is at all flaky, or if you don't have good cell service.
Yeah, I have
if you enable
decent cell service here where I am. So
yeah. And if somebody knows whether audio quality is improved, tell us. Sandhya, go ahead.
I was just going to add one other aspect of that is, when you set it up, it'll ask about calling 911 and emergency services, and you kind of program that in there. So that's just one thing that you got to be aware of, like where.
I saw that.
Yeah.
Saw that when I was looking at it.
All right, good question.
This is Sri.
Sri, go ahead.
Yeah, so basically I just tested it. I had to say find my AirTag, and then it started listing the AirTags for me, and then I asked the name of one of them, and then it went and looked for it. But when I went and asked find my one particular AirTag, it says it couldn't do it. So that's the way I figured it out.
So you said find my AirTag, and then it gave you a Siri listed a bunch of things, or you had to flick through a bunch of things, or
no, Siri just responded, which AirTag are you looking for? It named all my AirTags and said, which one are you looking for? Then I gave the name of one of the AirTags, and then it then went out, looked for it.
Good. So Rosetta, try that. Just ask Siri, find my AirTag, and then when she says which one are you looking for, then repeat the one, Rosetta's keys, and see if that works for you. Okay, let's move on to another question.
This is Terry.
Terry, go ahead.
Thinking about the Wi-Fi calling, and I haven't used it for a while, but it didn't improve the quality of the call, but it did improve the quality of the ability to hear the call. It didn't improve the sound quality of the call is what I want to say, but it did improve, the quality of the call if I had bad Wi-Fi connection otherwise.
Right.
So I think that's what you were asking.
Right.
But it did remind me of a question, a thing. remember when, what was it, the sidewalk, something came out and you could extend the range of your Wi-Fi?
Yeah, there was an
Is
Amazon,
that?
there was an Amazon feature, and it's still there.
Oh, but it's, oh, not on your phone.
No, it's not on the phone.
Oh,
Yeah,
sorry. I was
yeah,
thinking it was on the phone too now.
yeah.
No,
No,
okay.
that's an
Never
Amazon
mind.
thing.
Oh, sorry.
No, it's okay. All right. How about another question?
This is Ed.
Ed, go ahead.
Excuse me. I tried to open a new email at a new mailbox in email, and so I get into it and I punch in the name that I want on the box, and then it asks for location. And what is it asking for? Is it asking me to choose a position for the box between, say, two other boxes, or does it want me to choose? I've only got Kojiko. I don't have any. I just have the one email address. So, but what is it asking me for? The email address, or?
Okay, help me understand here. You're wanting to create a new mailbox.
A new mailbox.
Okay.
Just
and you
a place to put an email. Yeah.
Yeah, it pulls up the title, and you can enter whatever you want there.
Yeah, you type in,
and then it's prompting
person's
you
name
for
or whatever.
location.
Right.
Okay. Who can enlighten us about that?
Maybe I'm. Oh, okay.
Yeah, Sri, go ahead.
So basically, why it's asking you for the location is, by default, you have some mailboxes that's assigned to an account, and so it's asking you, where do you want this where do you want to put this new folder that you're creating? Because you're actually creating a folder, right, for that mail account. Yeah. So it's basically asking you, where do you want to create this folder to reside? So you could have, let's say, for example, you've got a folder called home. You got a folder called work. So you create this new folder, and it's asking you, hey, do you want to put a subfolder under home or work, or is it going to be a brand new folder? Because if it's a brand new folder, then you want it to be on the root of that mail account. That's what it's asking you.
Okay.
I'm not sure I understand. Like,
okay,
what I have is all the different type. Like, it has a bunch of headings, and then it has headings where it has people's names, and I want to open another mailbox with a person's name on it. So I type in the name, and then it asks me for the location. So is the location, now I know I want to put it between two other people. So how do I get that mailbox to go in between those two other people?
This is Sri.
You go ahead, Sri.
So it really depends on your folder structure. So you have a main root of folders, like your inbox, your sent, your junk. They're all in the main folder directory.
Yeah.
So if you have a list of folders, let's say let's call it friends, and these friends are listed A through Z. So let's just say your friend is Tom. If you put the folder Tom in your friends, it's going to be alphabetically in that list, and T will be, before or after S and so forth. So it really depends on where that location of that other folder is located. So that's why it's asking you, where do you want to drop this folder into?
So you say there's a subheading with friends or whatever?
No, what I'm saying is you have a root folder. Your root folder is your inbox, your sent, your junk. They're all in the root folder. Okay.
Yeah.
So now do you have an existing folder that you've created where all your friends, these names are located?
Yeah, I'll get an email, and okay, I don't want to put that in somebody else's mailbox, so I want to start another mailbox. So I go to open new mailbox, type in their name, and then it'll ask for location. And when I go to location, I try and toggle up through the names, and say I decide where I want it, and I hit enter, and it puts it in the last name that I've toggled past.
So it basically. This is free. So basically, it's going to list all those alphabetically. So it's just because if you didn't create a folder and put it as a subfolder, it's going to be all in your root folder directory. It's going to be in the main folder directory.
Yeah, that's fine. But it like when I do that, it doesn't enter the new folder. It just puts the new folder inside somebody else's name.
That's because the focus is on that folder name. That's what you want to be in the root.
You'd want to back out to your your friends folder.
Yeah.
And then put it in the friends folder.
Okay, so there's a subheading with friends.
No, what I'm saying to you is if you highlight, if your focus is on Tom, let's just say Tom's when the location says, when you hit location and the focus is on Tom, it's thinking that you want to create a subfolder under Tom, which is not what you want to do. You want to be in the root directory of it. You want to be not on any of your friends folder. Because
okay, I understand what you're saying, but how do I get to that root?
You swipe left. Swipe left till you get to the top. It'll be basically you'll see your inbox, your sent. All those things are your root directory folders.
Right.
So if you go to, let's say, is it a Gmail account?
Is it a Gmail account?
Oh, whatever the case, it doesn't matter.
Cogical, yeah.
Yeah, so it doesn't matter. So if you're in the root of that directory, that's when you create that folder. It'll put it as a root like you have with the others. I would suggest you put like a friends folder and then put all of those inside a friends folder, because right now it looks like they're all root folders to me.
Yeah, that's what they are, all root folders. So
all right,
maybe
guys, we're gonna have to move on, guys.
Okay.
Just Chris.
Go ahead.
So Ed, if you go back to you can't go back anymore when you open up the mail app and you go to the edit button on the very top. If you double tap the edit button, all of your folders will show up there, and you pick one of those folders, and then when you add another folder, it's going to put it under that one.
Okay, so I have to open edit and then go to
right.
Okay, great, thank you.
All right, see if that works for you, Ed.
Okay.
Sandhya, how are we doing on time? Are we about done?
Almost. You got maybe one more really quick question.
Okay, another quick question, real quick. Okay, I'll ask a quick question. Where are my AirPod Pro? They keep going in and out. Like I'll go to bed, they're fine. 10 minutes later, I'm getting an audio sound, and it may or may not cut back to the phone speaker, and then I don't know if that's a software thing or what's going on. I've tried unpairing and repairing. Anybody have any thoughts on that?
This is Brad.
Brad, go ahead.
You make sure that case is charged up. Charge it all the time. And then because that's what I've discovered is if I don't pay attention to it, my case runs down and my AirPods are in it and they don't charge. So that'll make them.
Yeah, I keep it topped
stuff.
up.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's the first thing I thought of. I don't know.
Yeah. Okay. What do you say, Sandhya? Are we done?
Yes. All right. Thank you very much, Greg.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, you covered a lot of ground, and once again, we're getting ready for the halftime midpoint of our call. We'd like to say hello to anybody who didn't get to say hello the first time around. Tell us your name and where you're from.
Angelo in Ottawa.
Hey, Angelo, welcome.
Mark in Montreal.
Ed and Mark, welcome.
Terry from Arlington Heights, Illinois.
Hi, Terry.
This is Dot from Southern California.
Hey, Dot, welcome.
Are you from Virginia?
Hey, Sri, welcome. Oh, it's time to find out what our movie's going to be for Friday. All right. And with those fabulous clues, we have our very own, special guest. Special guest, are you there?
Hello. Yes. Wait. 1 second. One second. Is this on?
no.
This mic's not working?
No.
Oh dear, what are we going to do? I have an idea. I'm going to call my special impersonator. He knows how to work a microphone. Mr. Impersonator, are you there? Yes, Michael, I am here, and I think everybody can hear us loud and clear. Can you?
Yes.
All right. Well, good. I'm glad we got that
indeed.
problem solved, because without a microphone, it's kind of hard to do movie clues, at least ones that you can hear. Hello, everyone. My name is Stephen Michael McCulloch Kerr, and we are going to unveil the clues for this Friday's Ibug Friday Night at the Movies. Now remember, same rules apply as the rest of the call. When I give the clues, no yelling out the answer. You have to say your name, wait to be recognized. You get one guess per clue, unless it's Shri, who gets 0 per clue. No, just kidding, Shri. Just kidding. And you get 5 clues, maybe fewer, maybe more, before we get the correct title of the movie. So, I assume everybody is ready.
People are allowed to be unmuted during this time. So just keep your background noise down.
Yes, keep the background noise down. That's exactly right. All right, here we go. Clue number 1. Our film brings all of the glitz and rhinestones you'd expect, but without the necessary complexity. Our film brings all of the glitz and rhinestones you'd expect, but without the necessary complexity. Anybody have an idea of that obvious clue? Or not?
I think I heard Jody.
Jody?
Yeah, how about Rhinestone Cowboy?
Ooh, rhinestone, like a rhinestone cowboy. You mean that one?
Getting a little carried away.
Yeah, no, it's not Rhinestone Cowboy. It's a great song.
Okay.
And probably a great movie, but not the right answer. Any other guesses? If not, let's move on to clue number 2. Our film opens with our narrator. Wait, this can't be right. Our film opens with our narrator near death, alone in a Las Vegas hospital room. The papers have labeled him a crook, so he must set the record straight. Our film opens with our narrator near dead, alone in a Las Vegas hospital room. The papers have labeled him a crook, so he must set the record straight. Shri, go ahead.
Is it a mad, mad, mad world?
It's a mad, 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 mad world. How many mads?
I think there's 3 in there.
Mad, mad, mad world is not the right answer. Any other guesses? All right, hearing none, let's go on to clue number 3. An IV drip turns into the Las Vegas skyline. Wearing a hospital nightgown, our narrator walks through a casino until he arrives at a roulette wheel. An IV drip turns into the Las Vegas skyline. Wearing a hospital nightgown, our narrator walks through a casino until he arrives at what else? A roulette wheel.
This is Shri.
Shri, go ahead.
Casino Royale.
Casino Royale. Well, no, that's not the right answer. Good guess, though, Shri. Any other guesses?
Other people can guess, y'all.
Yes, other people can guess.
This is Dee.
Dee, go ahead.
What about Hugh Hefner?
Hugh Hefner. Well, let's
Sounds
see.
like something he'd do.
Hugh Hefner. Let me see. Hold on just a second. Let me make sure. Nope, Hugh Hefner is not what it says on this little answer sheet I have here. But that's a good guess, Dee. Any others before we move on to clue number 4?
This is Jody.
Jody, go ahead.
Bucket list?
Bucket list. Oh, that's a great guess, but not the right answer. Anyone else?
Doc,
Doc, go ahead.
is this one of those Ocean 11, 12 movies?
Well, we need the actual title of the movie, but...
Ocean 12?
Ocean 12? No, that's not the right answer. All right, did I hear somebody else before we go to clue number 4?
This is Terry.
Terry, go ahead.
I never guess because I don't know a whole lot about these movies, but Viva Las Vegas.
Oh, Viva Las Vegas. Oh, hold on. Let's see here. Let me make sure. Hold on. Let me make sure. Viva Las Vegas. No, it's not Viva Las Vegas. Good try, though. All right, let's go on to clue number 4. Our protagonist moves like a Christmas fairy tale turned nightmare, one fueled not by jealousy, but the pernicious clutches of capitalism and racism, and the potent mixture they create. Our protagonist moves like a Christmas fairy tale turned nightmare, one fueled not by jealousy, but the pernicious clutches of capitalism and racism, and the potent mixture they create.
This is Richard.
Richard, go ahead, but if you could speak up just a little bit, please.
Okay, can you hear me now?
That's better. Yeah, that's better. Go ahead.
Okay, is it One Shot with Jack Reacher?
One Shot with Jack Reacher is not the right answer, Richard, but that's a good guess. Try again next time. All right. Any other guesses?
Mark in Montreal.
Mark in Montreal. Go ahead.
Fistful of Dollars.
Fistful of Dollars. I wish I had a fistful of dollars, but it's not the correct answer. Good try, Mark. All right. Who's next?
This is Shri.
Shri, go ahead.
Is it Casino?
Casino is not correct, but a good try. One more guess before we go to the clue that I'm sure will give it away. Any other guesses? Hearing none, let's move on to clue number 5. Our filmmaker takes the wiggle seriously. He shows... let me make sure I'm reading this right. He shows sexually possessed, screaming women a crotch in precisely fitted pink pants shot in close-ups that almost vibrate. I thought this was a family show. Harsh zooms, quick whip pans, and a taste for horniness by both men and women help make the early moments of this biopic so special, as does its anti-capitalist bent, which depicts how often labor, art, and ownership can be spit out and garbled in the destructive system.
Oh my God.
My
we hear that
imagination.
clue again?
Yeah.
Yeah, run that one more time.
All right, here we go.
Please.
And should I add it? I should have added a disclaimer at the beginning of this that the writer of these clues was not Stephen Michael McCulloch Kerr.
Oh, I guess. I hope not, Stephen.
right.
I hope not.
All right, listen closely. Our filmmaker takes the wiggle seriously. He shows sexually possessed, screaming women a crotch in precisely fitted pink pants shot in close-ups that almost vibrate. Harsh zooms, quick whip pans, and a taste for horniness
beep, beep.
by both men and women help make the early moments of this biopic so special. As does its anti-capitalist bent, which depicts how often labor, art, and ownership can be spit out and garbled in the destructive system. Any guesses to that short clue?
This is Shri.
You guys get Dan Rather to write these.
Is it Magic Mike?
One person at a time, please.
Okay,
Shri, go ahead.
Is it Magic Mike?
It is not Magic Mike. It is not Magic Mike. This is the only Magic Mike that matters. All right. Who has another guess? Anybody?
Brad,
go ahead.
about Electric Horseman.
About Electric Horseman is not the right answer. Oh, my.
This is
Sandhya.
Karen.
Karen, go ahead.
Is it Elvis or something?
Elvis?
I never knew the word pink pants, but
hold on. Let me consult. Hurry, let me look at the sheet. Hold on just one second, Karen. Hold on. Don't go away. Hold on a second. You know what? Let me confer with the judges. Just one second. Judges? Is it?
Uh-oh.
No, she said Elvis.
We aren't going to have time for the next half of our.
Okay. The judges say, ding, 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 ding. Karen, you are a winner.
All right, thank you.
It is Elvis.
Wow.
Came out in 2022. It's 2 hours and 39 minutes, starring Austin Butler and Tom Hanks. It has 8 Oscar nominations. Congratulations, Karen. Johnny, what do we have for our winner?
Oh my goodness. I think everybody just wants you to read clue number 5 again.
You should get Steamy Panini to read it.
Yeah, exactly.
I think Sandhya wants us to read it.
All right. So,
I'm going to read it with my Vietnamese accent.
Karen,
Who did write those
you
clues?
are the
How do you do with the
winner
movie?
of a gold lame suit. So, I'm not sure what that'll be like, but you will definitely be seen and you will be stopping people down the street. So,
thank you.
Does it have vibrating pants?
oh, well, I guess you could add those in. The other alternative is the black leather suit. If you want that one.
I'll
Well,
take the
you
gold.
can have both, okay?
Okay, thank you.
All right, so you pick.
There goes the wiggling again.
All right,
Go, Karen.
thank you, Steven. You did an amazing job.
Thank you
You want to
very
read clue
much.
number 5 again?
Yeah, sure. We can do another hour of the call if you'd like.
It wasn't that long.
No, it wasn't.
All right.
that long.
Thank
Good night,
you.
Mr. Stephen Michael McCulloch.
Yes, good night. Good night. There they go. Thank you so much. And now we are going to have our Ibug Bytes segment, and that will be presented by Greg. And then after that, we'll continue with our questions. So, Greg, are you ready to go?
Today's Ibug Byte is all about dictionaries and definitions. How do we look up a word that we're not familiar with? So to get started, let's go to our settings app and navigate to the general category. And that's down about 11 or 12 items in the settings app. And we want to open that general section. Again, navigate down by flicking right or dragging your finger, and about 11 or 12 items to dictionaries. and double tap. This screen brings up a list of 45 or 50 dictionaries. Some of those may be selected by default, but you have the choice of going in and double tapping on any dictionaries that you want. For example, there's an American English Oxford Dictionary, an American English Oxford Thesaurus. There are foreign language dictionaries. Pick the ones you want by double tapping. And then let's do one scrub to get out of this listing of dictionaries. Do another scrub to get out of the general category. And at this point, we should be back in the main listing for settings. We want to flick right until we get to accessibility and double tap on that. We want to flick right a couple times until we hear voiceover on and double tap on that. And then we want to flick right or navigate down about 15 or 16 lines until we hear rotor, and we want to double tap on that. And in the rotor settings, we want to make sure that voiceover is telling us that characters, words, lines, and text selection are all selected. So now we can close the settings app, and I've gone into an email message that I sent myself so we can demonstrate the dictionary feature. So I'm in the message area of my email message, and let me play that for you.
This weekend's IBUG 12th anniversary celebration promises to be splendiferous, a colossal, stupendous extravaganza. Actions available.
Okay, so there's the text area. Now, in order to get the definition, I need to do three things. First thing I need to do is I'll need to navigate to the word that I want to look up. Second thing is I'll need to select the word. And the third thing is I'll look the word up. So we're going to get a lot of rotor practice here. So I want to navigate by word until I get to splendiferous. So I'll turn my rotor to words.
Characters, words.
All right. And now I'm going to flick down, navigate word by word.
This weekend's IBUG 12th anniversary celebrate promises to be splendiferous.
All right. So I'm on splendiferous. Now I need to select that. So I'm going to turn my rotor to text selection.
Actions, characters, words, lines, text selection.
All right, so I'm on text selection. Now I need to tell it how I want to select text, by word, by line. So I'm going to flick down.
Time selection, word selection.
Okay, so I'm selecting text by word. So now I'm going to flick right to select splendiferous.
Splendiferous selected.
All right, voiceover is telling me that splendiferous is selected. Now I'm going to turn my rotor to edit.
Edit.
All right, and I'm going to flick up or down. What I'm looking for is I'm looking for look up.
Select all, copy, share, look up.
All right, so I'm on look up. Now I'm going to double tap.
Sheet grabber button.
Okay, and flicking right.
Splendiferous heading.
All right, and flicking right again is going to take me to the first dictionary entry. And the dictionary entry is going to have, the first thing it'll have is the word broken up into syllables, and those syllables will be divided up with dots in the middle. And then you'll hear vertical line, which is just a separation point. And then the word will be, it'll be the pronunciation of the word. And then another vertical line just as a separation point, and then it'll have the definition. So let's listen, and then it will give us the source of the definition. So let me flick right and let's listen to this.
Close button. Dictionary heading. Splin, middle dot dive, middle dot middle dot ooze vertical line splin modifier vertical line dive, schwa, schweiss vertical line adjective, bullet splendid, New Oxford American Dictionary, button. Actions available.
All right. So it gave me the part of speech and the definition and the pronunciation and how it breaks out in syllables. And it told me it was from the English Oxford American Dictionary. All right, so I could double tap on that, and that would expand the definition. So it would give me the full definition with an example of it used in a sentence and any alternate definitions. It would tell me what the derivation of the word was. More information than I'd probably ever be interested in. But okay, and if I was to continue flicking right, it would take me through each of the dictionaries that I've selected. For example, I also selected the Spanish dictionary. So it would give me the definition of the word in that Spanish dictionary and give me a Spanish word that was similar to splendiferous. In this case, I believe it was magnifico. And that's it. Just remember, you'll need to navigate to the word. You'll need to turn your rotor to text selection and select the word. And then you turn your rotor to edit and you go to look up and double tap. And that is the process for looking up a word on an iOS device. Okay. Sandhya, can you hear me?
All right. Yes, and it's all
right.
open. So if anybody has did you want to make some
Well,
comments?
yeah. Let
first?
me make a quick comment. Okay, so the advantage of doing it the way I did it is that you can have multiple dictionaries selected, and you can go through and look at the definition in multiple dictionaries, the thesaurus, things like that. You could also just ask Siri to give you a definition. It's not going to, I think Siri's default is Merriam-Webster or, so, there are advantages to doing it the long way. But the short way would be just to ask Siri what the definition is. So let's open it up for questions, comments.
This is Dot.
Stephen.
Sonny, are you going to take them or do you want me to? Go ahead, Doc.
This is Dot.
Dot, go ahead.
Do you need Wi-Fi to use these dictionaries, or is it native to the phone or to the iOS app?
It's a good question. I mean, no, you don't need to be on Wi-Fi. Yeah. As long as you have cell service where you can get to the web, through that. So I don't think you need Wi-Fi. No.
So it has to be online. So I have to be online. Okay. On the internet.
Now, I'm going to say no to that. I think you could do it any place you want. You wouldn't have to be on the internet. You could, okay. Yeah, your cell service would connect you to the internet.
Oh, great.
Yeah. Okay. Next.
Oh, thank you.
Somebody else.
This is
Stephen.
Siri, go ahead, and then Stephen.
I think what he's asking is, do you need data service? It looks like you do need data service. I think that's what he's asking. Whether you have cell service or Wi-Fi, I think that was his question.
Okay. Yeah, you would need to be able to connect. You'd need cell service or the internet, one or the other. But I assume you'd have cell service regardless.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Stephen, go ahead.
So, does it work in any situation? Like if I were on a web page and I come across a word that's I want to look up the definition. Does it work there, or basically in any app that you're in?
I think it'd work in any app. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Not just text messages or.
No, I think it'd work any place. You just have to get focus on that word and then select the word.
Okay, that's what I thought. Just making sure. Sometimes it can be finicky. All right. Good deal.
Thanks.
Good job, Greg.
Yeah.
This is Vincent.
Vincent, go ahead.
The first question is, usually Siri mispronounces a lot of words. are the words when they are pronounced correctly pronounced, or do we have the same issues as we have with Siri?
Vincent, I'm not. I can't speak to that. I don't know. I'd have to play with it some to see if it would make any difference. I don't know. Anybody? Go ahead.
This is Sri.
Siri, go ahead.
I think it's going to be based on the voice talent, because I know I use Alex, and sometimes he'll pronounce a word different than Samantha would. So.
That's a good point. Yeah, the different voices will pronounce differently, so that does make a difference. Okay, any other questions or comments?
This is Dan.
Dan, go ahead.
Okay, getting back to your procedure, after you select dictionary in the general, then you go into accessibility, and then go into voiceover. What do you do after that?
Well, the only thing would be to navigate down to rotor. Really, the characters, words, and lines are probably selected by default, I'm guessing. But text selection is not always selected by default. I've run into cases where people have not had text selection show up in their rotor. So that's the one. But yeah, you just you'd go into your voiceover settings and flick down to rotor, flick right until you get to rotor, and go into that. And then just flick right until you hear text selection, and make sure that voiceover is telling you that that's selected.
Oh, okay. Because I already have it set that way, so I wouldn't have to do any.
No, you wouldn't have to. You wouldn't have to do anything. I've just run into cases where text selection has not shown up in people's rotors, and so we have to go in and turn that on.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
This is Terry.
Who is it?
Terry.
Okay, you're coming across kind of muddy.
Oh, okay. Maybe hopefully that's better now.
Yeah.
So you have to select the dictionaries that you want to be able to use first. Is that correct? Or are there already by default dictionaries selected?
There will be. I think the Apple. One of them is labeled Apple Dictionary, and that's probably going to be selected by default. Yeah. By going into that dictionary setting, you can just select, like there's a UK Oxford English. There's an American Oxford English. There are thesauruses for both UK and United States, and then there's a boatload of foreign language dictionaries.
Then where do you find these again?
Okay, you go into your settings app, and you go down to general, and you open up general, and then you go to dictionaries and open that up.
Oh.
All right, guys.
Okay, thank you.
Wrap it up.
All right.
That's great. That's going to be so powerful and helpful to know how things are spelled and pronounced and the meaning. So very good. Thank you, Greg.
All right.
Okay. Now we're going to go back to a regularly scheduled program. Anybody who did not have a chance to ask a question during the first half, please step up and just say your name and we'll help you out.
Linda?
Go ahead.
Yes, I have done something to my iPhone. When I go to Spotlight, I'm not able to look up anything. I can type in something, and it usually takes me to different websites, but it doesn't do that.
Okay, any help for Linda? What has she done to Spotlight? Any thoughts?
This is Sri.
Go, Sri.
Have you reboot your phone?
Several times.
Did you do a force reboot?
No.
Yeah, I would try that next.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, I guess that would be I guess would you just go into settings and look for Spotlight and see if there are any settings associated with that? Because
I haven't tried looking up Spotlight.
Because I know you can tell what you want to show up. Do you want Siri suggestions? Do you want, there's somewhere where you specify that. I'm just trying to remember where. So.
Okay. Thanks.
Okay. Thank you. Good question. All right. Who else?
Sharon?
Hey, Sharon, go ahead.
Hey. So I think maybe it was Shri who told me. I just did it today. I got a new battery. So just recently back from the Apple store. So like 2 questions, I guess, because now of course I want to make sure this one continues to operate well. So I have optimized battery setting on. And there's also this new thing, which I have never seen before, but maybe it came with one of the recent, because they updated me to everything. Clean energy charging, which is on, which I don't even know what that is. But I guess I want that. And I guess sort of any suggestions or whatever to keep the battery in good shape, since it's now should be in pristine shape.
All right. I like the word pristine. Okay. All right. Who would like to keep Sharon's battery pristine?
This is Dave.
Go ahead.
Oh, yeah. That clean energy charging was added sometime during the 16 cycle OS, and it's turned on by default. I went in and turned mine off because I don't think it really makes a difference, but I guess they're trying to be green. They're trying to get credibility, to improve their zero carbon, I guess, their reputation and everything. But you don't have to turn it on. I mean, you can turn it off. So I really don't know if it's effective or not. I mean, around here, I think most of our electricity is through natural gas and coal, so I don't think it's very green. But so it probably doesn't matter.
This is Greg.
Oh, Greg.
Yeah, I'm thinking that with the clean energy, the idea is that during peak times when there's the max demand on the power in your area, that it won't charge during those times. It will charge back up, when it's a little less than peak demand, unless it's, if your phone's absolutely, gone down, then it probably would, but it tries to tailor the times when it recharges. Is that, can somebody confirm that?
This is Brad.
Oh, Brad.
Yeah, Greg, you nailed it. That's I read about this in a couple of places when it was when it was debuted, like earlier when commenter said it was implemented during one of the updates of the iOS 16 cycle. And yeah, that's exactly it. When there's high demand in your area, they will reduce your iPhones, won't hit the electric grid so hard, which, it's one of those feel good things. I really don't think it matters, but when you consider how many millions of iPhones are out there, I guess, economies of scale, it could make a difference. I think the biggest thing is that battery optimization. It will pay attention to when you use your iPhone. If you plug it in overnight, it'll charge it up to 80%. If it knows you tend to wake up in the morning and take it off the charge at 7 a.m., about 5:30, 6 a.m., it'll run it all the way up to 100%. So it's ready to go when you're ready. That's the main one. Keep your battery healthy.
Thank you, Brad. There you go, Sharon.
Dot.
Oh, go ahead, Dot.
One more thing. This is concerning if you travel with your iPhone, please do not charge your phone with one of those USB charger with the, on the chair on an airplane, or, while you on the chair waiting while you wait for your plane to arrive or to get on board. Do not use those USB slot to charge your iPhone, because you never know what's going on. But you should have your own battery pack.
Perfect. Thank you, Dot. Good job.
Could I ask the second part?
Okay, what, Sharon?
Could I just say, because Brad mentioned something. How do people feel about charging overnight? Is that okay or not?
This is Brad.
Go, Brad.
Use a wire. The articles I have read say wireless charging is there's some issues. Depends on the kind of wireless. I think MagSafe is different because there's something in that technology that will turn off the charging when it gets up high. But a lot of the Qi chargers, if you put your phone on one of those, it gets to 100%. It stops charging. It drops down to about 98. It kicks charging back in. It pumps it back up to 100. Then it turns it off. The cycle rinse and repeats over and over. That will definitely wear your battery out. So don't use those overnight. But MagSafe or a wire is fine.
Okay.
So plugging it into the plug it in and then the wire to the phone, that I can do it overnight. That's okay.
That's fine. That's the best, actually, I think.
Very good, Sharon. She's got
Thank
her
you, guys.
pristine battery. Good luck.
Thank you.
All right, next. New question.
This is Karen.
Go, Karen.
I have two phones, an older one and the newer one. And it has been my experience with the older phone, which is the SE 2020, that Siri practically does not work on the old phone. I mean, it barely works. It's like she's, working part-time. It's protesting the newer phone, I guess. I don't know. She's jealous. Has that been anyone's experience? If they have two phones, on the older phone, it's just not the same. She's just not operating the same way.
This is Terry.
Go, Terry. Got a part-time iPhone?
I think it's because you're not paying her enough. I have an SE 2020, and I almost never have a problem with Siri. But I know that Siri is affected by your internet connection, but you're saying that your newer phone has no problem, has no issue that way. Is that correct?
Right. When I was just using the 2020, it was fine, but now that I have the second phone, the older phone, she doesn't work half the time.
This is true.
I mean, I pressed the SE 2020 still has the home button, so I'll press it and I'll say Siri something, and it just boom, boom, and just goes right off.
It doesn't respond. Shree's got a comment. Go, Shree.
Yeah, I think part of it also has to do with the processor of the phone. Like if I ask the same question on my 6S Plus versus my 12 Pro, my response on the 12 Pro is going to be much faster because it has a much faster processor to process all this stuff. So if you're comparing apples to apples, you might see the same, but if you're comparing apples to orange, the older phone is always going to sound and be a little slower.
This is Karen. Half the time she doesn't respond at all, at all. When I was using the phone, by itself, she was fine. But when I say she doesn't respond, she just doesn't respond. She just completely ignores me most of the time.
This is Shree.
Yeah, go, Shree.
In that case, I would probably reset Siri. Just turn it off, turn it back on, and reinitiate it, and then try it.
Oh, yeah.
All right, I'll try that. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Karen. Good luck. Next, who has got a turn? Let's go.
This is Jody.
Okay, Jody.
Yeah, I just had a comment. If your old phone doesn't have cell service anymore, it could be that it's not connecting to cell. That you might want to run it on Wi-Fi.
This is Karen. I have cell service.
Oh, okay. Well, I've got an SE 2020 and I've got no problems with Siri, but that's my primary phone.
This is Pete.
Go, Pete.
My personal thought is, Karen, that your SE 2020 isn't that old. It's not like Sri just mentioned. It's a 6S.
Yeah, I'm not thinking that
400 years old.
I'm thinking that Siri's just jealous or something.
Yeah.
I think there's something else that's maybe different. Like, but I would restart it or something like Sri just said. Just shut it off and start it again and see if it doesn't perk up a little. Maybe speak up a little if it's 3 years old. Maybe the hearing's going bad a little bit.
Okay.
This is Brad.
Go, Brad.
Make sure it's up to date. Update that thing to the latest version of iOS, and that may have something to do with it too.
Okay.
This is Shri.
Okay, last comment. Go, Shri.
Yeah, I'm not saying, reboot is always a solution too. I'm also suggesting maybe reinitiating Siri too.
Yeah. So, like turning off Siri in the Siri settings. And then
turn it back on.
Question.
Okay, very good. Next question. Some new
Dave.
topic. Go, David.
Okay, so I was trying out this the Kroger app recently to try do grocery delivery, and it was a little quirky getting around just kind of using the card because I'm used to using Instacart. I've been using that for years, and it took a little while to figure out how to default it to delivery and not pick up at the store and so on. So I got my card all ready to go, and then I got to pay for it. So I got to give some kind of payment. So when I go to set up the payment, it says add a card, and then there's a place, you double tap. It says, credit card link. I double tap, and it says something about secure link. So I double tap on that, but I never get the entry for the credit card. The keyboard never comes up. But yet I had a sighted person do it. She turned off the voiceover. She said you had to tap it a couple of times, but the keyboard came right up for her, and she, and so I'm not sure why voiceover is not letting keyboard show up in this particular field. I've never run into this really in a e-commerce type app before that I can remember. So it's basically, if you don't have someone to help you sighted, you're kind of stuck, as far as getting a credit card entered in there.
So this is Sandhya. So once you get it in there, hopefully you'll be able. It'll be a one-time thing, right? Hopefully.
Yeah, I just have one time, and of course when you have to update eventually the expiry, you have to update it. And, but it's I don't know if anyone else has used that app or familiar with it.
So this is a new app just came out.
It's Kroger. They have a website too, and it's the same thing on the website. It actually directs you to the website from the app, so that might be one problem. It's like taking from the app environment to a regular website, but still, I've never run into that where it says there's a text field there, but I may have run into other apps where it says text field, but you can't, get the keyboard to react. I'm not sure what to tell the developer, to say what you need to do to fix that, or what it's violating as far as like the standards of app development.
Go, Shri.
So David, do you know a sighted person actually saw that keyboard when voiceover was on?
Yeah, so she double tapped and she didn't know my credit card number, so she handed it over to me, and I turned on voiceover, and the keyboard is right up there where it usually is. I could access my saved credit card, doing the Face ID and put in all the stuff real quick. Mm-hmm. I mean, it was like it took like 30 seconds or less once or really 10 milliseconds, whatever. Once I got that keyboard to show up, as you know, you don't get that keyboard, you're stuck. So I don't really understand why it didn't see that when voiceover is on. There's some kind of blockage there or something that's not coded up to standards, I guess, for accessibility. But I don't know.
This is Jody.
Jody.
Yeah, I've had the same problem with my local bank app, where my daughter can use it once I've turned voiceover off, but then when voiceover's on, it doesn't work. I've contacted the bank and the app developer, and they're actually working on it. So I would see if you can find some way to contact the app developer through the about or whatever, or help on the app, or even just call Kroger and ask us, speak to customer service and find somebody that can help you with it. That might be a glitch that everybody would benefit from having fixed.
This is Brad.
Go, Brad.
I was going to say, sometimes you might find that certain screens and certain apps, you might need to turn on screen recognition to access a certain button to, activate something, submit or something like that. So it's possible you may need to turn your rotor screen recognition, turn it on, find the button to activate the keyboard, then turn off screen recognition and continue going about your business. Just a thought.
Okay, and David?
Oh yeah, I was gonna say that was good. I'm gonna try to contact Kroger. It is, it's a big company. They have stores all over the country. They go under different names in different cities. I think they have other little divisions that are not called Kroger, but they're all part of the Kroger family. You think about screen recognition? Yeah, I've had bad experiences with that, so I kind of have that turned off by default on all my devices. But I guess I could fiddle around that. But I think really they should fix the accessibility bug, since I'm sure a lot of blind people would want to use grocery delivery. That's kind of one of the main ways we can get groceries efficiently. But anyway, that's
no, that's great. Hold on, I think I have Chris. Chris?
Hi, this is Chris. Yeah, David, I had that in an app years ago. It was a parental control thing, and the screen board just would not. I couldn't get the on-screen keyboard to come up with voiceover. It wouldn't work at all. It just wouldn't work in that app. And then recently there's another app. It's another thing for my kids, a credit card thing. And that one, if I turn screen recognition on, I can get the keyboard to come up so I can punch in the amount of money that I want to throw down the drain on my kids, and I'm going to spend money on stuff. So that one, I do have to use screen recognition on for that particular one to get the keyboard with just the numbers to come up. And there's another app that I've used, an exercise app, and I can't get the keyboard to come up to do certain things like make a folder in that exercise app, but I can use dictation. And if I use dictation, that will actually do the job for me.
Okay, thank you. And I just had a quick follow-up for you, David, on that app. Can you use digital coupons and all that stuff in that app, or have you tried that yet?
Yes, you can. That's one thing that kind of attracted me to it, because, when you use Instacart, you get whatever prices they kind of typically have, but, they have these grocery stores are running specials all the time and coupons, like you say, and you don't really get access to a lot of those on Instacart. Plus the selection seems to be limited there. I see some products on the Kroger app that I didn't even know they had, that don't show up when I do searches on the Instacart version of Kroger. So yes, they do have a clip feature, and it's you can also use your point card if you already have a Kroger card. For years you can use your loyalty card.
One more quick follow-up, and then we got to move on. Did you say it's also delivery and pickup, or it's just delivery?
It's pickup, delivery. They actually have a shipping option too, which is kind of weird. I don't know how they would ship your growth. I guess you could ship like non-perishable stuff, but yeah. So you can either have it ready at your store and you go and pick it up, or have it delivered. It's about a $7 flat delivery charge.
Okay, all right. I'm gonna
at least
check
here
it
in
out.
Houston area, and then I guess you want to put a tip on top of that.
You might have a demo in your future, David. You never know. Okay.
Well, we'll see. I'll try to get better at it.
Okay. Thanks, David. All right. Next.
This is Terry.
Go, Terry.
Does anybody know of, because it's a thing in other places, an app, an iPhone app that will tell you not in Siri's voice, but probably in some other voice, what the correct pronunciation of a word is? Is there? I tried to look that up with Siri, and she wasn't very helpful. But I'm just wondering if anybody knows of one.
Okay. Anybody have thought, Greg? Maybe your app or the dictionary app?
This is David.
David.
I don't have the exact. Well, what I would do, what I've done in the past, when you do like you go into Google and say, define whatever the word, you'll usually get links to different kind of dictionaries, and some of them will have a link that says, hear what it sounds like. It will be an actual human saying it, not a robot. Actual person will sound it out real slow, like splendiferous. Or something like, like that one that Greg showed, back when I was in elementary school, I know they taught us all those little house on top, little triangle on top of the thing with something, and a little long A, and the dot, and the
stress, yeah.
And stress. but and the accents and stuff. But those are hard to really translate into a
This is Pete.
like a screen reader.
Okay, did I hear Greg first?
Yeah,
or no?
I was just going to say that's like a $2 word, splendiferous. And I don't think what was said earlier about you get the dictionary pronunciation, with all the little markings and everything, which you'd have to be a real word nerd to understand that, I think.
All right,
So I got nothing for you, Terry.
Don't bash those nerds. Okay, go ahead, Pete.
I just wanted to ask David if he would pronounce splendiferous one more time for him.
We've had lots of entertainment on this call today, I tell you. Okay.
Splendiferous.
Very good.
Oh, where's Steven with clue number 5? Okay. All right. Who's next?
Helene.
Yes?
I was wondering, I was trying to pay my contractor is deaf and I'm blind. And so he speaks and I text him. And we're standing over my checkbook, which he's writing out. And I keep sending him text messages. And then, I don't know, after 4 or 5 messages, he says, I didn't get that one. And so I looked in my messages and I looked and thought maybe it went to a different Dan, the handyman. And so, it didn't, but then I sent it again and it happened, but the same thing happened so in other words, we do this all the time. And yet tonight, a lot of the messages were not received by him and I had to resend it. Does anyone know why that would suddenly happen?
Okay, so just to be clear, he's right there in the same room with you?
Yes, but he
standing
can't
next to you, and you're
standing next to me,
texting him what to do with the check.
No, I'm texting him of whatever, like anything that I'm writing him.
Okay.
And he's not getting it, but he gets like two out of the 5.
Okay, all right. Does he have an iPhone or Android?
Yes,
or
an iPhone.
All right. Anybody have any thoughts? Why the recipient isn't getting all of the messages, but gets some?
Yeah, this is Greg. So I can't respond to your question as far as why he's only getting some of the text messages, but there's another app that you might try, and it's the Translate app, so that whatever you say would be translated into Spanish and whatever he says would be translated back into English.
No, he speaks English.
That's a native app, I believe.
Yeah, he's an English speaker, right? But he's deaf?
Yes.
Is that right?
Yes, he's just deaf.
Yeah. Sorry, I thought it was a language thing. Oh,
yeah. Well,
never mind.
Yeah.
This is
Jody. This isn't going to help, Greg.
Greg is done talking.
Talk really loud, Helene. Okay. Okay. Anybody else?
This is Jody.
Go, Jody.
Yeah, rather than using text messaging, you can either use the Notes app and just do it directly that way and just show them your phone. Or, I've never looked, but I bet you there's an app in the App Store specifically for people that have hearing impairments for this very purpose. And I wouldn't use the text message. I would use something more specific or even notes.
Yes, Helene, this is Sandhya. So why do you, it's not like you need to make a record. So once but just like Jody said, you can either open a note, or as long as the text message is on your phone, you can just show him your phone.
Well, this is Helene. I did show him my phone because I wanted to check that it was there. And he said, well, I don't understand. We always text each other. Like, I speak and you text, and it's been working for us. Why isn't it working right now?
Okay.
And
this is Shri.
I didn't know.
Okay, go Shri.
Helene, are you both, obviously, you're at your house, you have your cell and Wi-Fi. He's running on cell, I'm assuming. Do you know if he's having a good cell service when he's at your house?
Oh, my. Yeah. this is Helene.
Go ahead.
I do realize he's probably not on my Wi-Fi, and so maybe it was periodic. Usually he's outside where he just texts and says, I am here, like he's starting his day of work, and then I'll write him back saying, okay. But usually he is not in the house next to me writing something. He's usually outside. Maybe when he comes in the house, I have to make sure he's on my Wi-Fi to help it.
Okay, that sounds like
Brad?
a good idea. Go, Brad, quick.
Do you have got radiant barrier in your roof? Because that can affect cell service.
I don't know what that is.
It's where they put like reflective material in your attic to, I don't know, you're in New York. We do it a lot here in Texas because of the heat. But it, keeps the heat out. So I know people that have that and it messes up cell service big time.
No, I don't have that.
All right, so Helene, try that out. Get the Wi-Fi, and then maybe even try so if he's there with you, you could try the Notes app. Otherwise, try to...
This is Shri.
Check his signal. Okay, go Shri, quick.
One thing I would, we talked about notes. I prefer to have that text conversation so you have a track of the conversation going back and forth from, just because he's a contractor, he's doing work, just to make sure that it's documented somewhere. A note, it's only one-sided.
Yeah, spoken like a real lawyer. Good job, Shri. Okay, with that, we are going to wrap it up. Greg, thank you so much for helping out tonight.
You are welcome. I just had to I had to wake up from my nap there.
I know. That's what I
Good
gave
job,
you some
Greg.
time. All right, and Stephen, our awesome guest, whatever
Michael.
he is.
Can we get clue number 5 again?
Guest.
He's our guest, Michael.
Yes, yeah, we like that one better than the actual one, but
yes,
but we won't tell him. But I think he's here, so he didn't hear us. Okay. And let's see. Okay, so thanks everybody for all the great questions. Really quick, we have a busy week, like I said. So tomorrow is Mac Buzz on Clubhouse, 5 to 6. Then Wednesday, iBug Android Insight, 7 to 8:30 on Zoom. Thursday, iBug Trekkie Talk from 8 to 9:30. Then that's season 6, Next Generation episodes 12 and 13. Then Friday, I'm back after the virtual movies. We're going to be watching Elvis from 2022. And yes, so we definitely want to check that out. Take your nap. I definitely encourage it. It's almost 2 hours and 39 minutes. Then we have a busy day. The next day is Apple Workshop from 2 to 4. And lots of fun and games. And then we get to find out who won that $500 tech shopping spree. So we have a busy week. We hope that you'll come and join us for any and all of these events. We'd love to have you. And with that, we will say good night.
okay.